Okay, so I'm going to put a Sparrow Colony box together here. It's going to be about 3/4 inch pliers for a lady down in Carmarthen. So the first thing you need to cut out is the back of the colony box, and that is basically 45 centimeters by 36 centimeters. So 45 wide, 36 deep. Then you need to cut out, because it's going to be a 3 terrace, basically 3 different chambers. You need to cut out 4 internal pieces. The first, as you can see, at an angle. So it is 26 centimeters by 23 centimeters, and the width is 16.5 centimeters. Okay, so that's the width. And then the other two you need to cut up slightly shorter, still the same width or depth, which is 16.5, and then you've got the back piece. Then the height, you've got 24 centimeters by 21 centimeters. Okay, so these two are slightly shorter than these two, and these two are the ones you need to fit first. So these two are going to be the outer panels, or the sides I should say. And how we do this is you mark where you're going to put it with a pencil line. So it gives you a guide where you're going to fit it. And how it's lined up ready, you're going to glue the one side, or the one end I should say. I'm using a good quality glue here now. This is Gorilla Glue. I'm keeping it as Gorilla Glue because this is going to be an external box. I want this to last, so line it up as best you possibly can, and I'll show you exactly where it's got to go in a sec. Just stay with me. And I've forgotten. I have to put that down. I've forgotten the battery. Apologies. Right, it's the battery. So I'm going to brad pin this together. This would suffice, no problem at all. Okay. So I'm using 50mm brad pins, which is ample for this. This is the tricky part, is trying to keep this still while you glue the one end. It's a balancing act. But take your time doing this. You need to get this right. Bear with me. Maybe this will work better. Right, let's get this pinned. So I'm using 50mm brad nails, which will suffice. You'll be surprised how strong this will be with Gorilla Glue and brad nails. I'm well impressed with this. YOB P3. Is it the P321? I think it is the P321, isn't it? Yeah, the P321. Much cheaper than other brad nails. I'm not sure how it would perform up against another brad nail, but it's good enough for what I want it for. Next one. Now it's important, if you're going to screw it or brad nail it, it doesn't really matter, it's both as strong. Use a good quality external grade glue. So, as you can see now, it's starting to take shape. These are the outer sides, okay? And these are going to be, the two pieces are separated to make it the 3 chambers. But we need to get the floor in first. Now, you're going to have to bear with me a sec here. Okay, so these are the strips that I cut earlier, and this is going to be the floor. So rather than using a measuring tape, I'm going to marry it up, get my measurement. Now, always get your measurement at the bottom rather than the top, okay? Because this is where it's going to fit, and that's where I want to measure it. So I'm just going to cut this. Okay, so that's perfect there. No need to glue this. This is going to be, because it's going to be tricky to glue. You have glue everywhere. So just screw it, nail it, right pin it, whatever. Again, spend a bit of time, make sure it's all flush. And they're not firing in. For some reason, where's my hammer? Side. Okay, so that's the flooring. I'll fit it from the back as well now. And a good way of finding out where exactly you're going to fit, screw it in from the back is get the depth. Get the depth with a engineering square. Now I've got the depth that, I know where that's going to go to. Get your pencil, run a line down like so. Now I know where the back piece is. Now I know where I can put the brad nail. Okay, so I've measured out where I want to put my 2 internal pieces, and I'm going to mark them. So this will be 1, 2, 3 chambers, okay? And, let's do it on the outside as well, so I know where to put the nails. Again, it's worth taking your time doing this, getting it mapped out properly. Because what you don't want is brad nails sticking everywhere. They should be, otherwise you have to redo it. Right, so I've got that placed there. I've got this piece now. Now I want to get the back piece done as well, or the back plate done, measured out. So I'm going to find the depth again with my engineering square, and then I'm going to mark out where this is going to go. Now I have a clear understanding of where this will all go, and hopefully it'll be nice and uniform. Like I said, it's definitely worth spending that extra little time getting this. Might look a bit tedious, but if it's job's worth doing, it's worth doing it properly. Right, okay, so this is the tricky part. I was placing these in. Now you can actually glue these in, and I will glue this in, just to strengthen that up a little bit. You can glue the back and the bottom of these internal pieces. I'll try and marry it up as best I can. Get the brad nailer into place. What I will do now is use my engineering square again and make sure you're nice and plumb inside. Okay, that's that there. Okay, so at the back, make sure it's nice and plumb up against my square, up against my engineering square, and then it's a case of putting a few brad nails in to keep them in place. As you can see, there's no brad nails sticking inside, and that's basically because I took time to measure it out properly and mark it out properly. That's going to be a lot helpful to you, because really you're shooting a brad pin blind almost if you don't mark it first. So again, take time getting this right. I know that's okay at the top. So I'll get my engineering square again, make sure it's nice and plumb, sitting nice and plumb, and fire my brad pins in. Again at the top. Make sure it's matching up to your engineering square, and then fire a brad pin in. So now we've got the outer walls and the inner walls, which will take you into a 3-chamber box. All that's left to do now is to fit the front on and then get a roof fitted on it. Okay, so I've cut my front, I've cut my roof, and I'm going to show you how I fit it all together. First of all, just by eyeing it up, mark where you want to put your entrance holes. So you want to try and get them in the middle of each chamber, and you can do that by eyeing up. It doesn't have to be pinpoint accuracy, but it does look better if it's you know, sort of it does look, as you're looking across it in a row, it looks a lot better if the holes match up. Now I always do 32mm holes for house sparrows. I think house sparrows would fit in probably in a 30mm hole, but I always do 32mm holes in all my nest boxes, all my small hole nest boxes, hole nesting birds boxes, simply because that caters for every small species that will nest in a hole, and that goes right up to a spotted, a lesser spotted woodpecker. No, I'm never going to get one of those, I doubt, but you never know. But that would cover a nuthatch, great tits as well, pipe flycatchers, red starts, house sparrows also. Did I mention house sparrows? I think I did. Anyway, so this is house sparrows. So I'm going to sort of work out where I want to put it. I want to try and get it as close to the top as you can, and the reason for that is we need it to be quite a deep chamber to stop the chicks. I mean, if the hole was there, the chicks could quite easily fall out of the hole. But if you put it up high, the chicks are not going to get up to that hole until they can fly. Okay, so they'll fly up to that hole when they're at their inquisitive stage, then they might leave the nest. And I still see, I was in a garden centre on the weekend looking at the nest boxes, and they're all £20 plus, and they're all really thin pieces of ply, nothing to protect the roof at all. And some of the holes, the entrance holes, are right down here, or they're big entrance holes, which will allow grey squirrels or greater spotted woodpeckers in to eat the chicks. They're really poor design, or they've put perches on them. You never put a perch on a nest box, I mean, all that does is give a footing for a grey squirrel to, or a greater spotted woodpecker to gain access to a foothold for them to gain access to your nest boxes. So, you know, go that extra mile in measuring out where the holes are going to go. But every single box that you do make, you need to make sure in the back of your mind that you're making it for an animal or a bird or whatever, and you know, you don't want that box to fail. You want it to succeed, and by doing things properly, they will succeed. Okay, so I've got my 32mm bit. I've measured out where the holes are going to go. Actually, what I'll do first, you just get another smaller drill bit, just as a pilot hole first. Okay, so we'll put a pilot hole in where I intend to drill the holes. Again, take your time doing it. This is my new Milwaukee M18 FPT3 Gen 4, and it is an absolute beast. I've got to say, it is exceptionally powerful for a small drill. If you go back on my videos, you'll see that I actually did a small review on this drill. Well impressed with it. Okay, let's change that bit. So when you're drilling these holes, start on the one side, go halfway, turn it over and go finish off going through. This will stop the wood from splitting, and I'll show you what I mean now. So oops. Oh, I've gone all the way through there. Luckily I didn't split anything, but there is a chance of you splitting if you're not careful. Okay, and now I've got this cord on you now, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. Okay, so this is where I've got to so far with regards to the multi-chamber colony sparrow box. And what we're going to do, we're going to fit the roof, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So I've cut this piece for the lid. Okay, it's the right size. I've cut myself a bit of bricklayer's dam course, and that's going to act as the hinge. But what this also does, it stops the felt from splitting when you open your roof. Okay, it's like almost reinforcement, if you like. So this is important. Also, if the felt breaks down, which they sometimes do, because you've got grey squirrels chewing at them and stuff, with this damp course, it's still going to keep the water out. So if the felt does break down, you've still got the damp course to act as a hinge, and also to stop the water from going down the bottom of the box. What I mean by that is, so that fits on there like that. It's going to tuck over the back like that, and then that will act as the hinge. All right. Obviously, I'm going to put some felt on this now. And what I normally do, I normally double over on my felt. So basically, I put two layers of felt, and it's just because it prolongs the nest box a little bit. It's worth doing. And unfortunately, this felt has been folded up for a long time. It's hard to try and mold into the shape you want it. Right, that should work. Right, so what I do, I marry it up to the felt where I want to put it, and then with my ruler, I cut off the excess pieces that I'm not going to use. Okay, which in this case is this side. Just take that off a sec. And this is quite good grade felt. This is as well. One layer would suffice, but I like putting two on. Let's just try and flatten that off as well, slightly if we can. Whoops, okay. Oh, a bit embarrassing, sorry about that guys. Let's get that set up for you. Oh dear. What an absolute disaster. Right, there we go. Let me just sort this felt out first. Okay, right. I've got 2 layers of felt. I placed my lid on like so. And then I always fit the front first. So cut forward from each corner. Fold the felt over and then just tack it in place for now. One there. One there. One there. Then what I do then, make sure that's nice and tight, I turn it over and I feel where the corners are. So one there, this side, one there, and then I work my way across this line then. This is going to take a few nails, I'm afraid. The only trouble is we're using double-sided, two skins of felt. You need loads of nails. And I do go through tons of these felt nails. Okay, turn it over. Cut off these little front pieces. Make a slit there where it's going to bend. Side. Same again this side. Cut off those tails. Now I should mould in nicely now. So the sides now. It's going to take 4 on each side, I think. So start with one there. One at the other end. Oh dear. There. And there. The other side. And then this will be ready to attach to the nest box itself. So that's that there. Pieces of felt out the way. I'm going to get, rather than scratch the back of the nest box, what I normally do, I use an old towel, and this is an ancient towel. Look at this. Look at the colours on this. Right, so lay the nest box down. Put the roof in place. Nails at this end. And then you basically fit it to the nest box, the roof to the nest box. And again, this is going to take a few nails. No need for the felt really, because it's external grade ply and that would suffice, but I think it looks a lot better with felt myself. It's gone dark outside again. We've got some thunderstorms now, I think. The weather here in South Wales has been absolutely horrendous the last couple of days. I imagine all the rivers will be in the fields by the end of the night. Right, it's nearly done. All we're going to do is tidy this back piece up. Like that. Take it right in there with a nail. Just right in place. Same this side. Tuck that over. Oops, not sharp enough that. Get it back to the front. Trim off the pieces that you're not going to need, which is these end pieces. It's hard to cut two pieces of ply together, quite thick. There you go. I need a standing knife for this one. Okay, and then all you do then is tuck this piece at the back of the nest box, pull it as tight as you can, and get some tacks in, and then we're nearly done. Now this will also protect the back as well. Nearly done. Last nail, there we go. Right, let's see how this turns out. Okay, and that's the finished outlook of this. So obviously, because you've got that damp course underneath, it acts as a hinge, but it will also stop this felt from splitting. Okay, so that's that. That's a multi-chamber tree sparrow. Tree sparrow. This is a multi-chamber house sparrow colony box.